GM Welcome to the Web3 Writers. I'm CD Demisio, hosting today for Vagabond Media Group, and joined by the editor-in-chief of Vagabond Magazine, Riona Morgan. How are you, Riona?
Web3.
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so good. I was typing furiously saying, come join us. We're live. So, yes, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Riona Morgan. I am editor in chief of Vagabond Magazine, and I'm so excited to welcome you today.
Riona, you make me feel just a little bit guilty because I have to admit I did almost no promo on this. The last couple of spaces that we had, X Rug the Space, and it is so disheartening to get out there and share a link everywhere and then have the space rugged as soon as you start. So this time I was sort of like, okay, I'm just not going to promo it. And you can see the results are a little different when that doesn't happen because people don't hear about it. But I see T. Dillon Daniel is joining us. We've got also joined by Web3 Metal, rock on. And we've got Baoism in the house and ideas. You're always showing up but never talking, dude. But you're welcome to come up and talk if you want to. So there's just a lot going on in the space right now. The crypto markets right now are heavily red. They're bleeding, one might say. And I know that's a concern for a lot of people. But, that is what happens with these markets. They go up and they go down. And so always just make sure that you protect yourself, that you take profits, don't get too heavily believed in one specific thing, because when you do, often what happens is it goes down. And sometimes they don't come back up. Sometimes they do. It all depends on the quality of the community, of course, and things like that. I see you've got a couple of requests. T. Dillon Daniel, we're going to get you up on the stage. Odd Writings, we're glad that you joined us. Cryptoversal, we're super glad as always that you're here. So those markets, you can't emotionally attach yourself to them. It's really important not to do that. And it's also important when you have gains to make sure that a little bit of that stays with you, and there's a few ways to do that. You know, you can swap it into like US dollar coin. You can actually exit from the crypto off ramps, using Coinbase or Gemini or things like that, and actually put US dollars in your bank. But there's risk to US dollars, of course, too. And also just diversifying. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can do to protect yourself. And when you do that stuff, you don't have to let the markets affect your day or your emotions. But I will tell you guys, even as much as X bothers me and as much as Elon himself bothers me, which, I want to love Elon because I was born in 1971. He was born in 1971. He's sort of like, oh my God, look how much you can do if you're a 71. Right. And, but he's so annoying. But I still bought a couple of shares of Tesla this morning because that dip looks like it's pretty hard dip, and man, it's Tesla. So I would say, might be a good idea to look at that, do your own research, not financial advice ever that we're giving here, but just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about the markets bleeding and things like that. So Riona, what's on your mind this week? I've been rambling about markets and money for a minute. Let's stop that and move on to something else.
Well, I am so excited because this is April and this is National Poetry Month. And I am a poet, I think, first and foremost, before all of the other things that I've added to my life and my world. And I love poetry. I actually found an over 100-year-old poetry book that I had tucked away, and I just fortuitously pulled it out the other day, and oh, it was like sitting down with an old friend and just being with it, and all the comfort and all the memories and all the love that book brings to me. And the pages are tattered with the old cellophane tape, and it smells perfect old aged book smell. And I can remember my mother holding the book and reading from it. And this month is so special. And so I'm so excited to be able to celebrate Poetry Month with everyone. And maybe later we'll have a little bit of an announcement. But that's really where my heart is today, with poets and writers and creatives who speak in that language, who I feel like it just bears the soul to the world. And so, yeah, that's where my heart is today.
Hey, do you have that book handy right now? Is it somewhere nearby?
I It's sitting on my bookshelf downstairs. I can easily go get it.
Yeah, why don't you grab it and maybe you can just read us something from it. It doesn't have to be like a full ballad or something, but maybe you can
Sure.
find something
Yeah,
and read something
I
for us.
know exactly what it will be. I'll go get it.
Awesome. In the meantime, I'm going to say hi to Odd Writings, our friend George, who is it rejects the label I give him of the Web3 Poet Laureate. But George, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. I totally understand what Riona talks about on the old poetry books. Well, for me, it's actually any kind of old book whatsoever. But I love going to the half price bookstore and going to the clearance section and finding really beaten up books, which is why they're in the clearance section. And many of them are 100 years old, 70 years old or whatnot. And one of my favorite things is to find an old book that has where someone, a reader or previous reader, has written within the book. And sometimes you'll find poetry in there. Sometimes you'll find little inserts of letters, old letters and things. Um, so I totally get that. Anyways, I brought back good memories. I haven't been to Half Price Bookstore in quite a while because I've got far too many books and I needed to stop. So, but I'm doing pretty well.
George, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was looking around my tiny little Hawaii studio apartment and I was like, man, I have too much stuff. And unfortunately, I have so many books and I kind of think I need to start getting rid of some of them. It's a shame because I love those old books. I have the same thing. And especially when, um, that smell, or every once in a while there's like a drawing inside one that's really cool. And I love when someone has sketched inside old book. That's one of my favorite things. But have finding a poem too. And Riona reminded me that my mom used to always read Shel Silverstein to us. You guys know Shel Silverstein. So I know some of them by heart. Like at the very beginning, it was invitation. If you're a dreamer, come in. If you're a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. And I just love that. I mean, and maybe we should open up the Web3 writers with that. It's come in. Anyway, I didn't mean to steal the show there. Riona, did you get your book? She might still be getting it.
I
Let's
did.
say hi.
I did.
Oh,
I did. But please finish the say hi. I'm looking for a poem right now.
okay. Well, let's say hi to T. Dylan Daniel. We're always so glad to have you here. T. Dylan Daniel is the head of governance at PageDAO and so much more. He's a philosopher. He's a writer. He's a friend. He's a brother. He's a son. How are you, Dylan?
Well, I'm an overworked scientist right now, CD. It's been a crazy day here in Lubbock, Texas. I will say that much for sure. Um, I guess I could say a little bit more. There's just kind of some page token work going on behind the scenes, and I think we're making some good progress and getting pointed in the right direction, so to speak. I also want to send a shout out to our R&D department, who I think is making some huge strides to getting organized today. So, GM.
It's words that you don't hear all that often. A crazy day in Lubbock, Texas. I don't know that I've ever heard that, but I like that. I like it.
Hey, I'm out here living it, man. I will say that. It's mostly crazy inside my head. It's not so much what's going on out in the world. It's more this storm of ideas and relationships and opportunities.
Well, my imagination, which by the way, I don't know that everybody has this, but I have like a high definition imagination, and when I imagine things, it's really just like I'm watching them on a screen or experiencing them in real life. And when you said a crazy day in Lubbock, Texas, I was picturing cowboys riding cows and people doing Texas two-step in the middle of the dirt street, and people rolling out of the local bar, in fights. And yeah, I was picturing like a Western movie. Sorry. you are welcome to picture grass skirts and coconut bras when you think of Hawaii as well. Riona, let's rescue me from that, shall we?
Okay, definitely. Definitely. Okay, so I found one of my most favorite poems, and it's by John Greenleaf. Oh, John Whitcomb Riley. James Whitcomb Riley. What am I saying? Because I was jumping back and forth between John Greenleaf Whittier and James Whitcomb Riley. And so I just landed on James Whitcomb Riley, and it's called An Old Sweetheart of Mine. Are we ready?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. As one who cons at evening o'er an album all alone, and muses on the faces of the friends that he has known, so I turn the leaves of fancy till in shadowy design I find the smiling features of an old sweetheart of mine. The lamplight seems to glimmer with a flicker of surprise, as I turn it low to rest me of the dazzle in my eyes, and I light my pipe in silence, save a sigh that seems to yoke its fate with my tobacco and to vanish with the smoke. 'Tis a fragrant retrospection, for the loving thoughts that start into being are like perfume from the blossom of the heart. And to dream the old dreams over is a luxury divine, when my truant fancy wanders with that old sweetheart of mine. Though I hear beneath my study, like a fluttering of wings, the voices of my children and the mother as she sings, I feel no twinge of conscience to deny me any theme, when care has cast her anchor in the arbor of a dream. In fact, to speak in earnest, I believe it adds a charm to spice the good a trifle with a little dust of harm. For I find an extra flavor in memory's mellow wine that makes me drink the deeper to that old sweetheart of mine. A face of lily beauty with a form of airy grace floats out of my tobacco as the genie from the vase, and I thrill beneath the glances of a pair of azure eyes, as glowing as the summer and as tender as the skies. I can see the pink sunbonnet and the little checkered dress she wore when I first kissed her, and she answered the caress with the written declaration that as surely as the vine grew round the stump, she loved me, that old sweetheart of mine. And again I feel the pressure of her slender little hand as we used to talk together of the future we had planned, when I should be a poet with nothing else to do but write the tender verses that she set the music to, when we should live together in a cozy little cot, hid in a nest of roses with a fairy garden spot, where the vines were ever fruited and the weather ever fine, and the birds were ever singing for that old sweetheart of mine. When I would be her lover forever and a day, and she my faithful sweetheart till the golden hair was gray, and we should be so happy that when either's lips were dumb, they would not smile in heaven till the other's kiss had come. But ah, my dream is broken by a step upon the stair, and the door is softly opened, and my wife is standing there. Yet with eagerness and rapture, all my visions I resign to greet the living presence of that old sweetheart of mine. The
I
end.
thought I thought for a second that yeah, do this. I thought for a second that perhaps his sweetheart was not his wife, but so
Yes.
the gasp.
The gasp.
That's
Yes, yes. Well, when I have a secret, when I was a teacher, when I taught school all the time, I would teach. That was the poem that I used to teach irony, because you think, oh no, he's going to get in trouble, but then he doesn't, and it's lovely. Thank you guys so much for letting me share. I love that poem so much.
it's so nice. It's from a book that your mom used to read to you from. That's kind of, to me, that like adds an extra little value flavor to it.
Yeah.
I want to say hi. Speaking of extra value flavor, let's talk to Cryptoversal Books, because we're so glad to have you here all the time. You're up on the stage as a speaker. Tell us a little bit about poetry and what's going on with you, because I know there is some stuff, Greg. Let's go.
Well, I'm just so inspired by all the poetry all around all the time. I'm more of an author than a poet, but I do like to dabble sometimes, and I was especially inspired by the National Poetry Writing Month Challenge trying to challenge myself to just put a little something down every day for the month of April, and put it into a collection. And I have it's the second day really, so it happens to be my daughter's 10th birthday, and she is a co-author with me on today's poem of. I asked her what it feels like to be 10, and she said she feels older. She's happy to be in double digits, and she can't wait 6 more years until she's driving. And so that's basically the genesis of that poem, and I don't know if I can top that for the rest of the month, because that is going to be a hard act to follow.
Damn near impossible. But hey, if she's probably in school, but if she's around and she wants to read it to us, we'd love to hear it. If you want to read it to us, we'd love to hear that too.
She is in school. Yeah, it's let me find it here. All right, so it's called 10. 10 says she feels older today. 10 says she loves double digits. 10 says she'll be driving in 6 years. Heaven help us all. And I'll put it into the nest, and yeah, it's trying to do a little something every day, and I'm doing them as animated GIFs, and just have a little fun with it.
Yeah, I got your poem yesterday. It was on Farcaster. I think it was like it cost 10 DGen, and I thought that was the biggest bargain that I've found on Farcaster so far. It sounded and looked really good.
I think that's going to be a rare one because it was listed for DGen, and Zora had a problem with it. I was using Zora as the minting platform, and it was sort of invisible. So I think you and I might be the only ones who have this poem. And I only made it available for 24 hours, so it is rare.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was going to be that rare. I was just stoked to get it. I'm even more stoked now.
Yeah, and I did sort of a pre-poem on an Easter poem that's out there, and that's the number 0 of the month. And
that was the egg, right?
That was the egg. Yeah, I dropped that to all the Gutencast holders. Everyone got one.
Totally. I saw it in my wallet. I was like, oh, first I saw you post it in Paged Out, and then I saw it in my wallet, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You dropped it to us. Thanks.
Well, looking forward to seeing what everyone's doing this month, and looking forward to acquiring some awesome poetry. And that's going to be my goal. Try to release something and try to acquire and support the poet community throughout the month.
Okay, so I actually did submit one yesterday for NaNoWriMo, I guess. I put it up on Farcaster, and whether it's good or not, it's probably not. But it's the April Fools. In realms of wisdom they reside, the April Fools, so dignified, with robes of humor they impart lessons deep to mind and heart. Their laughter echoes through the air, guiding seekers everywhere. In jest and jest they gently tease, unveiling truths with playful ease. Beneath the guise of jest and mirth lies wisdom of immeasurable worth. For in their humor we discern the path to enlightenment we yearn. So let us honor on this day the April Fools who light the way. With laughter bright and spirits high, we embrace their teachings far and nigh. That's the April Fools. Because yesterday was April Fool's Day. So did you guys do any pranks?
I did not.
The big one that my daughter actually pulled on the family was to reprogram the wake word on all of our devices, so that she was the only one that could use them. And we were all locked out of them.
That's an amazing prank. So do you remember when it used to be kind of fun when tech companies would like pull pranks? I tried to look for some of those yesterday, and just there were really none of them that were very fun. There was one I saw that was Scotch tape. did a prank where they said that they were going to start distributing their own like Scotch whiskey liquor, and I thought that was pretty funny. But aside from that, I didn't see any. Um, do you guys remember any good tech practical jokes?
I don't remember a tech one, but I just wanted to make a note that on your previous thing that you just now mentioned, that would give a whole new meaning to the word plastered. Ah,
George, I didn't know you were a dad, but you're in the club, whether you have kids or not, with that joke.
I feel honored, sir. I am not physically a dad, but now I am spiritually one, and that is a good thing.
Well, we've got a cat dad with us up here too, and that is our friend Edward Carpenter. Edward, how are you today?
I am well. Seem to be having a good bit of technical difficulty, so I may switch to browser and see if that works.
No problem.
I'm not sure if you guys can even hear me on this
Yep,
phone.
we hear you.
I am well. Seem to be having a good.
Oh, that was weird though. We heard you like echo yourself. Okay, well, while we wait for you to solve that, does anybody else have any poems or poetry related things that they'd like to bring up? Riona, go ahead.
I do. So I think that this would be a good time to talk about how Page Dow, Vagabond Magazine, Whitney Morgan Media, and Cryptoversal Books are collaborating, coming together to issue an open call for poetry. And I will put a advertisement here in the chat, and you all are the first ones to know about it, because it has not even been publicly sent out yet. It's ready to be, and it will be later today, but you guys are the first to know. So I will put the call for the open call submission information below in the chat, and then share it up in the nest. And please, you can submit as many poems as you'd like. We have so many fun things planned for this poetry, and for celebrating you as poets and celebrating poetry itself. And so all through the month, we're going to have so many fun things going on. And so please submit your work, and there will be publication opportunities, celebration opportunities, so many things. I can't even tell you about everything we have going on. And so please feel free, jump in every single day. You can submit a new poem, and just over and over. And you can have video poems, you can have audio poems, you can have just any way that you would like to share your digital poetry with us. You do it. And so I'm gonna share that right now. And yay. Okay, thanks, CD.
Yeah, no problem. I'm absolutely excited about this. George, go ahead.
Yeah, question for Riona. Does this have to be a brand new poem? Because if it doesn't have to be a brand new poem, then that means we could submit NFTs, which would be kind of nice.
I don't know if we even have any kind of parameters on it. And so if you I will update the Google form to have a link for you to share the link to your NFT. I think that sounds wonderful. And so yeah, I will jump in and update the Google form to for you to be able to share the link to your NFT. That sounds good to me. Page Down member, what do you think? Does that sound good? Odd Writings, does that sound good to you?
Oh, I was the page down member you were referring to, because there's so
Yes,
many of us here. Yes,
I
yes,
know.
that sounds great. And it's also, when you do stuff like that, it's a good sort of cross marketing thing, because people can go from the NFT to your collection and back and forth. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
I do too. I do too. Okay. So I guess that's what we're doing. That sounds good. I will update the form to do so. And when you get ready to submit, you can visit Vagabond Media, and the information's on the form. And then there's a place for submissions. You just click on that, and you just follow through on the form and fill that out and upload your poem, and off you go. And you can do one every single day if you want. Sounds beautiful.
That is amazing. It's so amazing, because that kind of stuff only happens really in Web3, you guys. It doesn't really happen in the real world so much. I mean, you can submit stuff to a journal, you can submit stuff to a website, but like when you get the kind of collaboration that we're talking about with Cryptoversal Books and Whitney Morgan Media and Vagabond Media and PageDAO and all of this coming together to create, opportunities for poets to have their voices heard. You don't have to be an established poet. You don't have to be a poet at all. You can be someone who just wrote a poem, who's writing a poem. And that's why we love Web3. That's why we're Web3 writers and not normal writers, because the community aspect is such an important part of Web3, you guys. When Web3 came out, like that was sort of the thing that caught my attention and blew my mind, was like, oh my God, this creates the sort of like social network for writers and creatives that we've never really had, where we can collaborate and connect in a whole different way than ever before and still own our work, still be the ones that like control what happens with our work and actually have a say in all of that. And so I can't affirm enough how excited I am to be a part of this opportunity. And Riona, your hard work there and everywhere and everything that you do, I really just want to shout out to you how much you do, how much you're appreciated, and all of the hours, and you do put hours and hours and hours into everything here. And if people want to know how much time you put in, all they have to do is just pop into any of the different places and they will see that you are active all the time. Just like Edward Carpenter's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to join these spaces. We have so much dedication. We have so much, love in this space that it just deserves to be shouted out once in a while. So we're about the halfway mark, you guys. I remembered another Shel Silverstein poem, and I'd love to share it with you. It's super short, but this one was always my favorite, and maybe this is why my mom reading me these kinds of poems might be why my brain is wired the way that it is. Slightly, a little bit like, unacceptable. And this poem's called Gardener. We gave you a chance to water the plants. We didn't mean that way. Now zip up your pants. That's it. Okay, so short and sweet, maybe. Anyway, so NFT NYC is coming up this week, and I don't know if any of you guys are going. I was hoping to be able to go, but I'm just not going to be able to pull it off. But is anybody heading to NFT NYC, and do you have plans? Have you heard about literary events or things like that? What is happening there? And I'm going to throw out another round of invites, but I'm going to shut off my mic, so if anybody wants to jump up and start talking, please do.
I can jump in a little bit and talk about some people who I know that are going to NFT NYC. But first of all, you just spent a little bit of time singing praises for Edward and myself and other people in the Web3 space who work so hard and who are so dedicated. And I just want to send that same kind of love back to you. You are honestly the one that has brought us together. Like you have created this world, and you have created this space and this opportunity for all of us to come together and celebrate each other, celebrate writers, celebrate forward thinking, celebrate humor, celebrate love, celebrate so many beautiful things. And I just want to say right back to you, thank you for giving all of that to all of us. And it's beautiful, and I'm so honored to be part of it. And I'm so honored to be co-host here with you, and to be building all of this with you. And so yes. And then moving on now to NFT NYC. I know that we have a couple of members from PageDAO who are going, and we've been working a lot on putting together some promo video stuff. And I know that our developer, Indefatigable, is going to have an opportunity to meet up with Sasha Styles. And so that is so exciting. And I cannot wait for us to be able to share everything that's going on with PageDAO with Sasha. so that she can learn about everything that's being built over there, and all of the things that Page Dow is doing to uplift writers and uplift readers, and all of the things that Vagabond Media and Cryptoversal Books and Page Dow and Whitney Morgan Media and all of us coming together to build, and all of our other partners and all of our other people. And we are just literally building this platform for you all together with all of our voices. And so it's so powerful. Like, if you step back and looked at it and went, wow, you would be amazed at everything that is happening. And it's just beautiful. And so I see a couple of people in the audience that I want to give a special shout out to. Daniel Creed. He is a Page Dow powerhouse. He works so hard and is so involved all the time. Every day he jumps in, works hard. He's amazing to work with, and so I just want to say that about him, and that there's a new article coming out through Vagabond magazine with Vagabond Media about all of the things that we are doing at Page Dow and how we're inviting creatives to come be part of it and to share their voices. And that article should be live right now. It's sent out to paid subscribers, and then in a couple of days, it'll be open to free subscribers. And so if you want to read it ahead of time, please jump in and grab yourself a copy of that. Subscribe to Vagabond magazine, Vagabond Media through Substack. And it's so exciting. It is, man, there's so many fun things going on. And so, and I see Lisa and everybody. Oh my gosh, there's so many beautiful people. I'm so happy that you all are here. And I even see some new people. So I'm going to run around and make friends. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go make some friends with people. And you guys, chatter on.
So, Cryptoversal, are you going to make it down to NFT NYC this time?
That's a good question. There's so much going on at home this week. It's just crazy, and I'm not even. I would love to be able to meet people in real life, face to face, that have been, such good friends for the years that we've been working together on Page Dow and continue to work together. I'm hopeful that I can go down, at least like make it a day trip. It's doable from here, and just hang out with folks and get to see them as real people rather than through a screen. Honestly, I can't. I don't know that I can get away for the multiple days, but still trying to work out the details.
Well, I got to say, I'm envious that it's close enough for it to be a day trip for you, because for me it would be an 11-hour flight, and in some cases the flight was like, because it has a delay in Vegas, so it's like a 24-hour flight from Hawaii to New York, and once I started looking at it, I was like, I just can't do it. But oh my God, man, last year it was so great to like hang out with Riona, and to hang out with Edward Carpenter, and there were just so many people there that it was so great to like meet and to spend time with, and to walking around the city at night looking for places to go grab a drink, or to Edward set up an off-Broadway poetry reading where like Katie Dozier and Tim Green came, and there was so much amazing poetry in that space, like, and it was just really cool. And so there's those opportunities. But if anybody is going to NFT NYC, I want to tell you that the big takeaway for me from last year was I went and I was like, I'm going to attend as many sessions as I can attend, and that's going to be my priority. But in fact, all of the best stuff happened away from the actual venue, in my opinion. The best stuff was the parties and the events that were put on by different projects, and the things that happened, the gatherings that happened away from the convention center and away from all of the the scheduled stuff. Now, the scheduled stuff, there was some good stuff. I mean, we did a panel that was well attended, informational. We still get comments on it from people watching it on YouTube, which is amazing to me. But that's where we are. We are so early that stuff from a year ago that we're talking about is still early. And that is something to really consider when you look at this space, when you start thinking about it. Like stuff from a year ago that was talked about on a panel at a big convention is still early. But my advice for anybody going is to really focus on the events that take place away from the convention center. So for you, Cryptoversal, just going down there for the day, find some of that stuff to attend. And I wouldn't so much worry about getting in and hearing the talks, because a lot of the talks I felt like were directed at people who are brand new to the space. And at this point, most of us who are up on the stage and probably in the audience, we're not new to the space. We understand the basic concepts of Web3 and things like that. But I see on the stage, we have our friend Authored Style has come up. How are you today?
Hey, hope everybody's doing all right. Yeah. Oh no, 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me get away from my desk.
No
But
problem.
yeah, yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm hoping everybody's doing fine. I came up to see if anybody was going to NFC NYC because on Friday night, really cool auction to help with suicide prevention, and I donated an art piece to it. So if anybody is interested, I was going to drop it in the bottom if you're looking for something. Pretty cool cause.
Yeah, definitely drop that, man. That's amazing. And that's dropping things into auctions like that, donating that, taking part in things like that. It's such a powerful way to participate and really to make the world a better place. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
No, thank you guys. I think we all kind of, what do they say? Knives sharpen knives, or so I think we're all just sharpen each other's just by motivate. You guys motivate me for what you're doing, and we're all trying to reach higher. So it's good to be around a group of people who are reaching and trying and breaking things and making sure that we're putting stuff together for the people coming behind us.
Well said. So I saw that George's hand went up, but George, before I call on you, we also brought up to the stage Poison Peso de Gretzky. And I have no idea what you're all about, but say hi and tell us what you're all about. We're glad to have you here.
Hey, thank y'all for having me. For sure, it's cool seeing, NFT NYC is definitely this week. I was actually supposed to be a speaker, but I'm not gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, my tickets, my flight tickets, kind of got compromised. So, it's kind of like a weird way that I'm looking at it right now. Like, I went last year and I actually performed and stuff. So, like, seeing my friends, I think somebody else was just saying it. Like, yeah, I really want to be with my friends, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's in the plans, like for you to build everything around it, but like it's still so early, and you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't get discouraged. And now I came in here, I'm not sure, I think Arthur might have led me in here, but I came here because I had tweeted that earlier about the books. And I had been like researching, like trying to find a book, so I tweeted that out this morning actually, and I couldn't find them, so by myself. So I just asked. So that was cool coming in here and hearing y'all talking about, what I'm saying, the page down. So that's really amazing. I actually had a book that I was putting together that I was going to release after NFT NYC, like on April 17th, which was my granddad's birthday, which is a book that I'm writing, like kind of like a sci-fi book about his life. I'm on like chapter 8. So it's a couple more chapters I got to go. So definitely, what I'm saying, just loving the vibes. I've been here for a minute. A couple of my friends are still speaking this year, and United Realities, that's kind of our umbrella that we have, and we're throwing our own event at the G Gallery. So if you are there, also you can check out the G Gallery in Manhattan, April 5th. So it's this Friday, 7 to 11. And just pop up there and say like Peso sent you, and you know what I'm saying, you'll get in free for sure. But they have some giveaways that they're doing, live performances. Nessie the Rilla made it up there, but all of my brothers are performing at this event. So like it's just you know what I'm saying, fire seeing it, you know what I'm saying, but from the sideline this year, you know what I'm saying, but it's still cool, you know what I'm saying, because I'm still here, you know what I'm saying, hoping, you know what I'm saying, for the best of everything, you know, it's just like, it's like watching ESPN and just like getting to watch the highlights, you know what I'm saying, you might have had to work, you know what I'm saying, before then, but you get to watch the highlights and, you know what I'm saying, that's good too, so.
You got a flyer for the Nessie one?
Yeah, I do have. Yeah, I will post a flyer. He's actually gonna be opening our show. So you know he's gonna be really busy. I'm so glad he got to get there. So he's gonna be really busy. So he's gonna perform one song at the opening of our show, which is Friday. So that'll probably be he'll be the first performer. So I think he'll go on at 8:00. So yeah. But I'll post a flyer up for sure.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you came. I mean, I'm stuck on the sidelines with you too. I wish I was going to be there to go to that show though, but I'll catch the highlights. You know, that'll be what it is. George, what did you have to say, my friend?
I was actually gonna mention Peso because he posted a question, uh, but of course he got on stage, so now he can ask it himself. But he had written, you know, where is the best blockchain library to upload books? I've been researching and I don't see anything. So of course, you know, on book mentors, I would of course mention PageDAO Mentor. But there's a lot of other places. Alexandria Labs, Cryptoversal has been working on one. I never can remember Cryptoversal if yours is ready or not. But anyways, I thought I would raise the question, but you know, Peso's on stage now, so not necessary.
Well, that's a pretty good answer. Cryptoversal, I heard you called out on that. So where are you standing with what you've been building with Cryptoversal books? I've been wondering to ask that for a while as well.
The Ye Old Minter, Ye Old Book Minter, in beta form on Optimism, had some bugs in it, and I think the new version of the PageDAO Minter, the next generation of PageDAO Minter, is going to eclipse anything else that's out there. That certainly anything that I could put together. Cryptoversal books being platform agnostic and chain agnostic, open to all possibilities. But that's really what gets me excited. Seeing all the development, all the R&D going into it, and all the tech behind the scenes. If I were looking right now to be, and I actually am, I'm looking right now to be putting out books in the near future, holding off until that Minter is ready and available, and we can kick the tires on it. It's going to be so exciting.
I'm excited to kick those tires, but I'm also excited because Lisa Gibbons is up on the stage with us. Lisa, hi.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. I'm always nervous coming on and saying hello, but Rihanna and everyone just makes me feel so comfortable. So yeah, I just want to say hi from a little place in Ireland for April Poetry Month, and yeah, I run a Limericks Poetry Festival. I was telling the guys in PageDAO about it, so I think we might do something together in the future. But yeah, I have a little limerick. So if everyone doesn't mind, I will say a limerick for April Poetry Month.
Nope,
okay,
nobody minds. Please do it.
Okay, it's good. I knew that I was kind of a bit of a. I didn't think I was a creator until ChatGPT. They won't take any of my stuff because I write a lot of rude stuff, and they're like, no, we can't finish your limerick because it's too rude. So yeah, here it goes. Photographer Dave was depressed after always trying his best. Mobile phones came along. Every gobshite had one. Now the world's a shite photo fest. So that's my little limerick for Poetry Month, guys. And I just want to say thanks. And I also want to say with Poison, that is right up my street. Oh my God, like mixing virtual and physical realities is like through events is what I want to do, like long term in life. So I really think I want to chat with you long term, like down the road. And I think you're you're ahead of the game, and it's great. I wish I could be there. I was at it's in NFT NYC 2 years ago, and yeah, the atmosphere is incredible, and it's just full of life. And yeah, whoever is going, enjoy it and have the time of your lives. Thanks, guys.
I can't stop laughing. I mean, I experienced that limerick to some extent. Um, not just hearing it, but living it. So yeah, NFT NYC, Easy in Crypto is there right now. I think he is checking in at the moment, so we're not going to get him up on the stage. Maybe we'll get him up on the stage. Easy sometimes. We know a stage, you can't resist it. We know how the stage calls to you, my friend. So if you want to throw up a request, we would love to have you up here. Always happy to have Easy in Crypto around. So, oh, look at there he is. It worked. Okay, I'm adding you as a speaker right now. So Easy he's Easy. We all know Easy. How are you, dude? Can you talk?
I'm doing good. I'm doing, my not my regular, but my semi-usual thing, tuning in from out on the streets. So yeah, just about to jump out at the Javits and run in. It's raining pretty good here. Came from Racket, where doing a big concert with a bunch of the homies, with Phalenx right now. Louis C. Ryan's gonna be there. A lot of great Web3 musicians. So it kind of went there, started setup, coming over here to check in, running back there, and it starts in like an hour or something. So yeah, everything's a little chaotic, but I will definitely be reporting in more once things are really rolling. And if anybody wants to catch some great tunes in the metaverse, at HyperFi, the 3PS studios, and then I think also in Crypto Voxels at NFT Music Hall. So I'm going to jump out now for a minute because we're jumping into the rain. Peace, love, and whipsy. Whippy!
Whoopee! Hey, and yesterday on Easy's Corner, I think Jose released music on blockchain, and Web3 writers, we're not limited to poems, we're not limited to books. Web3 writers are music writers too, you guys. Music is a part of writing. It's a huge part. And in fact, yeah, without writing, you'd still have mute. No, maybe you wouldn't have. I don't know. I'm trying to connect things that are so intimately connected. It's ridiculous to even try to connect them. But yeah, I didn't make it to Easy's Corner yesterday, and I wanted to hear Jose's debut. Did anybody make it to that? Was anybody able to go?
I caught like half that, but it started with Easy's Corner and Jose dropping. That was amazing, and highly recommend people giving it a listen. He was able to go and onboard like a music studio, a like technician, like a flute player and stuff, all in like a day. He's just doing amazing stuff, and the sound is amazing. So give it a listen when you get a chance.
So does anybody know about the recently ended contest on T2? I haven't checked in on the Discord or anything. Do we know yet who won those prizes? This for people unfamiliar. This is for a writing contest that a lot of us just completed. Are they still working on that, or do we know the winners?
Riona, go.
I still think that they are, like, the T2 group is still working on it. And I think I read in their FAQ that the awards ceremony will be around like the 15th or something of April. So I don't know if we're going to know beforehand.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now that I think about it, I think last year was roughly the same. They got to have some time to actually count all the points.
And we won a nice prize on that last time. The Web3 Writers Union. We formed on the spot when Wanshu came in and told us about that. We won a nice prize last time. I don't know if we're going to this time, you guys, because the competition, not only did we have the Web3 Writers Union, but we had the Web3 Rebels who joined, and there were some other great teams too. But I have to say, it was a little overwhelming, T2, the Friends That Write contest this time, or Friends Who Write, because there was so much content being thrown up on T2. And if you guys aren't on T2 yet, you should get on there. I think it's a great platform. It is a writing platform, Web3 writing platform. Is connected with Arweave, connected with Lens Protocol, and they're doing all kinds of things. They're experimenting with ways to incentivize people to read and ways to incentivize people to write. And we'll see. Maybe there'll be a token drop someday. Maybe it'll be one of these things where, you get paid down the road for your participation, but you get paid by the attention anyway, and by the connections that you make with other writers, and by the things that you learn. Like, George, your essays this time, they were all etymological, right? Looking at words and the origins of words. I absolutely loved reading every one of them. And you've just got such a dry humor about things. And maybe because, even though we've never met in person, I feel like I know you. So I read those essays and I hear them in your voice, and they are so good. If you guys haven't seen them, follow George's profile. Actually, follow every profile in here. But go check him out. And since you've heard his voice, I think you'll appreciate these essays the same way that I do. George, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, thanks a lot for the compliment. That's very nice, very kind of you to say. Last year, what I had to think of 4 essays to write, because for this T2 contest, we write 4 essays, one a week, and they have to each be 1,000 words or more. And I wasn't sure last year what to write, so the first 2 that I wrote were having to do with sort of the design of the platform. And then the second 2, because I love etymologies, I decided, well, I'm going to write etymologies. And then I got some feedback from some of you guys saying, those last 2 were probably better than the first 2. So this time, what I decided to do was all 4 of mine were going to be etymological essays, but there's actually an ulterior motive here. Because I always like to kill as many birds with one stone as I can. But that sounds pretty horrible. But the
bird killer.
Yeah, there's a book I'm writing, and it's got a palindrome poem, and which is kind of what I sort of not specialize in, but I really like trying to get those things to work. But because of the palindrome nature of the poem, they can be rather difficult to make sense of, even though they do actually make sense, but it takes me a long time to write them. And so I realized, without you never want to have something that says, oh, you might want to try interpreting the poem this way or that way or this way or that way, because the interpretation is supposed to be up to the reader. But there's sort of an indirect way for me to do that, which is I picked 4 words that I used in the poem, and those are the ones that I did the etymologies on. And so the things that I raised in the essay, those are supposed to sort of seed little sparks of, or seed little ideas in your head, so that if you then go back and read the poem, which contains all 4 of those words, and you keep in mind the etymology of the word, then you realize there's some senses and ways of interpreting the poem that maybe weren't so obvious before. So it's my sneaky way of saying, if you're confused by the poem, read these essays and then go back and read the poem again. But I have fun doing those essays in any case. And I just love etymologies, and so thank you very much for the compliment. It means a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm going to jump in and echo CD's thoughts as well. I didn't save yours for last, and so this month I was so busy. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And then on Easter I set aside the whole day in between family things to read, and it was just like a dream come true. All sorts of family, all sorts of reading. It was so fun. And I did sort of save yours for the end because I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So everybody, I'm an English major. I love linguistics. I love syntax. I love the beginnings and origins of all of these things. And it's just so exciting to read what Odd Writings puts together. And I just am giddy reading it. And so I just love that we have all of these things in common, and it's just so fun. So thank you so much. And I really, really enjoyed Edward's work and CD's work and everybody Dylan's stuff. Gosh, man, we are surrounded by some of the most amazing writers, and I just am so, I love it. This is where I belong, and I'm so happy to be here.
Well, you're a part of that too, and the stuff that you were submitting was so fun to read. Like, I don't always read that genre, but it was fun to read. But I got to shout out Cryptoversal here because Cryptoversal took a different tack in writing his pieces for Friends That Write. And can you tell us about it, Cryptoversal, a little bit? Like, touch on that.
Yeah, sure. So started off pretty straightforward. I did an essay about why the blockchain is like a pair of discarded underwear. And that was, fairly standard, like comparing the blockchain to underwear as you do. And then in the process of generating a little graphic to go with it, I got an image from Midjourney that kind of surprised me. It surprised me in a way that, it seemed more evocative of human creativity in that, I was looking for a floating pair of underwear in a cyberspace environment for this comparison. And I got basically a character in a setting doing an activity, waiting for her laundry to be done. And it was such a moment that sort of resonated, like, well, that's what it's like, being back in college and trying to make your wardrobe last as long as possible because you don't have 5 quarters to put into this machine and you need to save it up, and finally it's laundry day and every single piece of clothing that you own is crammed into this machine, and what you have left to wear is not fit for anything other than just standing next to this machine until it's done, and you can't go out and let it, and you can't have anyone see you, and you're just waiting for this machine and you're just standing there. And it was that, and it was it was in sort of a little bit of a futuristic but grungy future. And the character had little hints of cybernetics to her, and it was just the most perfect representation of laundry day, of just that feeling. And so the second essay was like, this is amazing. This picture blew me away because this was an AI, and AI doesn't know from laundry day. AI doesn't know about wearing clothes, and AI doesn't know about the whole culture of fashion and laundry and all the practical aspects, and depicting that in an image. So the second essay was that experience of having this image and knowing that it was generated from an AI prompt, and having my mind blown of, this is not something that I would expect an AI to have come up with, and even have it be in the training set, have this very, very specific image to draw on, or to just randomly come across to generate and have it evoke such a specific moment and such a specific feeling. And then the third piece I did was, well, all right, I have a character, I have a setting, I have a moment. Let's explore this world and let's explore this character. And I wrote basically the first chapter of a story of this character in her world, and that was the third piece. And then the fourth piece was some revision notes and some author notes. As I was in the initial draft, I had the character commenting on an image that she has on her wall. She's the type of person who lives in a world where people have embraced virtual technology and AR, and she is sort of a throwback, and she is old-fashioned. She likes physical clothing, she likes physical artwork, she likes physical books, and she's commenting on a piece of artwork that she owns, that she has on her wall in a time where people have, basically they decorate their walls with with virtual artwork because everybody has their lenses on all the time, and that's all that they can see. And I came across an actual painting that I had in mind from the 19th century that was, this is perfect. This is what I was thinking about, and this is so sort of from her perspective, looking at this actual picture in our world. So it was like Inception. It was a character generated by AI, interpreted by a human viewer, looking at an actual painting from a human artist who was looking at a field with haystacks in it and sheep, and really drawing from that into her world of, all the people around me are the sheep. And that was the fourth essay. And so it was sort of a progression and got very far away from the blockchain is underwear, but that was the inception.
Well, the thing that really struck me was the fact that, like, even 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been possible for that chain of events to have created the group of essays that you actually created. I mean, we are so living on the edge of change that sometimes we forget that, like, the group of essays that you wrote would have been feasibly impossible 2 years ago. And it's just astounding to see new processes and new forms being born. And sometimes it's very easy for us as artists, as creatives, as musicians, as writers, as poets, to get stuck in the forms of the past. But there are new forms being born all the time, and they're being born by the new forms of technology, the new forms of expression that we have all the time, like this space, for example. And so anyway, I loved seeing it. We're pretty close to out of time, you guys. Is there anybody else who has a poem that they'd like to read to close us out? And then we'll come back and we'll do our standard Aloha closeout. But if somebody else here has a poem that they'd like to read, I think that would be a nice thing for us to have before we all move on with our days. George, come on, you got to have something.
Oh, well, I should have something short. I don't want to make it last forever because some of these guys. Let me. Well, all right. I'll do. Here's a very quick one. And it's not a palindrome or anything. It's just something I have written down here on a sheet of paper, which apparently means I've never used it before. So here it goes. Flow forth the currents, bewitching night into day, dream into stupor. And that's it. So maybe I can make that eventually into something else.
Love it, man. Evocative and very visual, very like sensory words. You guys, this has been the Web3 Writers, brought to you by Vagabond Media. We call it VMGM because it's Vagabond Media. Good morning. And also, it's paged out. I want to shout out to Twig and T2 and Cryptoversal Books and Whitney Moore Media. But the way that we close out this show, as always, I live in the beautiful island state of Hawaii, and we have a wonderful word here, aloha, which a lot of people think it just means hello and goodbye. It means both, but most importantly, it means love. It means we all breathe the same air. We really are one. We're all made up of the same molecules. So I'd like to close out the show by just everybody who's on the stage, just open up your mic and say aloha at the count of 3. So we'll do that now. 1, 2, 3.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Brought to you by Vagabond Magazine and published on Apple Podcasts through the Substack app. You can find all the episodes on Apple Podcasts or at vagabond, vagobond.substack.com. Our theme music is composed by the amazingly talented Paolo Argento and brought to us courtesy of Pixabay. You can find the link in the show notes.